You're just safe and convenient, not the man of my dreams, she admitted while planning trips with another guy. So I told her she was free to go and ghosted her completely. Now he's dumped her, she's couch surfing, and I calmly sent her away when she showed up at my family gathering. Hey, viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I thought I knew what it meant to be in a committed relationship. You find someone you love, you treat them with respect, you sacrifice a little here and there because building a future together is supposed to be worth it. That's what I thought I was doing with Emma. Emma and I met in college. She was ambitious, funny, the kind of girl who lit up a room just by walking into it. I wasn't flashy or loud like some of the guys she hung around with, but she always said she liked how steady I was. You're the kind of man I can count on, she told me once when we were studying late for finals. That stuck with me. I figured that was a compliment, being the dependable guy. Fast forward 4 years, and we were both out of school, trying to figure out real adult life. I had a steady job in IT, nothing glamorous but good money and room to grow. Emma was working in marketing, hopping between contract positions and chasing what she called her dream role. She had expensive tastes, always wanting the newest phone, the weekend trips, the trendy restaurants. I picked up extra freelance projects when I could just so we could afford those things. I never complained. I thought that's what you did for someone you planned to marry someday. Looking back, I can see the shift started slow. She'd scroll through Instagram and make little comments about influencers traveling in Bali, couples posting their soft life routines. I'd hear her sigh under her breath and say things like, "They look so happy, so alive." I'd brush it off, thinking she was just daydreaming. Then she started making comparisons. Nothing too sharp at first, just small digs. Like when I suggested we go away for a long weekend somewhere affordable. She wrinkled her nose and said, "That sounds safe. Don't you ever want to just do something wild? Like pack up and go to Europe for a month?" I laughed it off, saying we'd get there someday, when money and timing lined up. She rolled her eyes and muttered, "Someday. You and your plans." I started to notice her phone more. The late-night texts, the smile she tried to hide. When I'd ask who it was, she'd casually say, "Just friends from work." She never let me see the screen for long. I didn't push, because I trusted her. I thought couples were supposed to give each other space. Around that time, I started talking about moving in together. We were spending most nights at each other's places anyway, and I figured combining rent would help us save toward buying something of our own. I brought it up over dinner one night, excited, expecting at least a smile. Instead, she looked uncomfortable. "Move in," she repeated, twirling her fork. "That feels heavy. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for that." I was taken aback. "We've been together 4 years, Em. Isn't that the natural next step?" She shrugged, avoiding my eyes. I don't know if settling into an apartment is really what I want right now. It sounds boring." That word stung. Boring. I told myself she was just stressed, maybe worried about losing her independence. I didn't push the topic, but things didn't get better. She started bailing on our plans last minute, always with excuses about work, happy hours, or networking events. I'd see tagged photos online, her out with the same group of friends, and always standing next to the same guy. Tall, loud, the type who ordered shots for the whole table. One night, she came home late, smelling like tequila and perfume, laughing to herself as she kicked off her heels. I asked if she was okay, if she had fun. She gave me this distracted smile and said, "Yeah, it was amazing. You should try being more spontaneous sometime." Then she just went to bed. I lay awake staring at the ceiling that night, feeling a pit open in my stomach. Something was wrong. I knew it, even if I didn't want to admit it. I kept telling myself that I was being paranoid, that she was just going through a phase, that she'd remember all the nights I stayed up helping her polish her resume, the times I cooked for her after she had a long day, the way I always made sure she never worried about bills. I thought love meant being the safe harbor someone could always return to. I didn't realize she was already looking for a storm. A week after that uneasy dinner, I decided to bring up the moving in idea again. Not because I wanted to pressure her, but because I thought maybe I hadn't explained myself well enough the first time. I wanted her to know I wasn't rushing, just that I saw us as a team, and I wanted to build something real. We were sitting on the couch, eating takeout. I waited until she set her chopsticks down, then said quietly, "Em, I've been thinking about what I said before, about us moving in together. I don't mean we have to do it tomorrow, but I'd like to start planning. I think it would be good for us." She leaned back against the cushions, arms crossed. "Why do you keep bringing that up?" I frowned. Because I love you. Because I thought that's where we were headed. She gave this half smile, the kind that wasn't amused but wasn't kind either. You really don't get it, do you? My chest tightened. Get what? That's not what I want, she said flatly. I don't want to move in with you. I don't want the boring couple apartment, splitting rent, cooking dinner every night. That's not my dream. Boring. I repeated, my voice low. She nodded, almost eagerly now that she'd started. Yeah, boring. You're safe, convenient, reliable. The kind of guy women settle for when they're tired of chasing what they actually want. You're not the man of my dreams. It was like a punch to the gut. For a second I couldn't breathe. Convenient. I asked finally. That's all you think I am to you? Her expression softened for a moment, like she realized how harsh it sounded, but she didn't take it back. Instead, she sighed. Look, you're a good guy, okay? You really are. But I want more. I want passion, excitement, adventure. I want to feel alive. Not like I'm signing up for a 30-year mortgage with a guy who plans his weekends around laundry. I swallowed hard, trying to keep my voice steady. So what then? There's someone else. She hesitated just long enough to confirm it. Then she said, too quickly, it's not like that. Emma, I said quietly. Who is he? She picked at a loose thread on the couch cushion. Just someone I know. A friend. We've been talking. He gets me. He wants the same things I do. He's spontaneous, fun, not afraid to live in the moment. We're planning a trip next month. My mouth went dry. You're planning trips with another man while you're still with me? She had the nerve to look annoyed. Don't twist it. It's not cheating. We're just connecting. And honestly, it made me realize how much I've been missing. You don't make me feel that way. You never did. I sat there, staring at her, every word carving deeper. 4 years of my life, every late night helping her study, every extra shift I worked so she could have the life she wanted, reduced to convenient. I took a slow breath. So what are you saying? You're leaving me? She shrugged like it was the most natural thing in the world. I think it's for the best. You'll find someone who appreciates you. You deserve that. And I deserve someone who makes me feel alive. Her voice was so calm, so certain, like she was doing me a favor by dumping me. I sat back, numb. My mind screamed at me to shout, to argue, to demand how she could say these things after everything we'd been through. But all that came out was a quiet. If that's how you feel, I won't stand in your way. She blinked, surprised. That's it. You're not going to try to fight for me. I met her eyes. For the first time all evening, I felt a strange clarity. No. If you think there's something better out there, go find it. She opened her mouth, then closed it again. For once, she didn't have a comeback. She just looked unsettled. I stood up, grabbed my keys, and said, I'll give you some space. You can figure out your trip. And I'll figure out the rest. Then I walked out, not slamming the door, not raising my voice, just leaving, because there was nothing left to say. Inside, I was shattered. But on the outside, I gave her nothing. The first few weeks after I walked out of Emma's apartment were brutal. I won't sugarcoat it. My phone felt like dead weight in my pocket, but I kept checking it anyway, half hoping she'd text, half dreading she actually would. She didn't. Instead, I saw her life plastered all over social media. Pictures of her at rooftop bars, arms wrapped around that same tall guy I'd seen in the group photos. Captions like, finally living my best life, and surround yourself with people who make you feel alive. Friends cheered her on in the comments. I sat in my empty apartment scrolling through it, feeling like someone had ripped the floor out from under me. I had been her rock, her steady place, her safe option, and she tossed me aside like I was a placeholder until something more exciting came along. Mutual friends tried to tiptoe around it, but eventually one of them slipped. Yeah, Emma and Ryan are pretty serious, they said, almost apologetically. She said you two weren't working out. Not working out. That was her summary of 4 years. The nights were the worst. I'd sit on the couch staring at the TV, not even hearing what was on. I'd remember the little things, the way she used to curl up against me on cold nights, the mornings she'd leave her coffee cup in the sink because she was always running late. Those habits that used to annoy me suddenly felt like they belonged to a life that wasn't mine anymore. I didn't text her. Not once. I wanted to. God, did I want to. I wanted to demand how she could replace me so easily, how she could belittle everything we had with one cruel sentence. But I knew it wouldn't change anything. Begging wouldn't make her respect me. Anger wouldn't make her regret it. So I stayed quiet. Instead, I started focusing on myself, though it wasn't some grand transformation at first. It was small things. Going to the gym again, even when I didn't feel like it. taking extra hours at work, not because I needed the money anymore, but because it distracted me. Calling my parents more often, grabbing beers with coworkers I used to brush off. The silence started to shift. At first, it was crushing, the kind of silence that makes you feel hollow inside. But slowly, it became peaceful. No more waiting for her texts. No more wondering if she'd cancel plans. No more living in the shadow of her restlessness. I realized how much of myself I'd given up trying to keep her happy. I'd worked late to afford trips she barely remembered. I'd downplayed my own interests to match hers. I'd convinced myself that being safe and reliable was enough, because that's what she told me she liked. But safe and reliable had become insults in her mouth. One night, scrolling through my phone, I saw another photo of Emma and Ryan. They were on a beach somewhere, both of them sunburnt, holding fruity drinks. The caption read, "With the man of my dreams sparkles." For the first time, instead of hurting, I laughed. Not a bitter laugh, just a quiet, almost tired laugh. Because if she really thought this was her dream, then maybe I had dodged something I didn't even realize was coming. And somewhere deep down, I started to believe that losing her wasn't the end of my story. It was just the end of a chapter I'd been holding onto too tightly. It was about 6 months later when I started hearing whispers about Emma again. I wasn't looking for them, but mutual friends couldn't help themselves. "Hey, did you hear about Emma and Ryan?" one coworker asked me at happy hour. I shrugged, pretending not to care. He grinned. "Guess he's been seeing someone else." Like, multiple someones. Apparently one of them is in her friend group. I kept my face neutral, but inside, something in me eased. The updates trickled in slowly after that. Emma had quit her job, the same marketing role she used to brag about, because of stress. The vacation photos dried up. Her Instagram went from flashy trips to vague, inspirational quotes about healing and focusing on yourself. The comments from her friends grew fewer, then stopped altogether. Meanwhile, Ryan made no effort to hide who he was. He paraded a new girlfriend around within weeks, then another one after that. He wasn't the man of her dreams. He was just another loud, selfish guy chasing whatever thrill came next. And Emma had given up everything for him. I never gloated out loud, but I won't lie. It felt like karma had finally punched its ticket. By then, my life looked very different. I had gotten a promotion at work, taken on a leadership role that actually excited me. I had joined a hiking group on weekends, gotten into better shape, even started dating casually again. Not rushing, just enjoying meeting people without the weight of someone else's contempt on my shoulders. For the first time in years, I felt good, peaceful, like I could breathe without worrying if I was enough for someone. And just when I had finally stopped thinking about her at all, that's when she came back. The first message was short. "Hey, been thinking about you. Can we talk?" I stared at it for a while before locking my phone. I didn't reply. A few days later, "I owe you an apology. I wasn't fair to you. Can we meet for coffee?" Again, silence from me. Then the call started. Unknown numbers I didn't pick up. Voicemails with her voice cracking. "Please, I just want to explain. You were the only one who really cared about me." I ignored them all. But Emma wasn't used to being ignored. One evening, I was coming home from work when I saw her waiting by my building. She looked nothing like the girl who had told me I was just safe and convenient. Her makeup was smudged, her hair messy, her confidence gone. "Finally," she said, forcing a smile. "I was starting to think you were avoiding me." I kept my tone flat. "I was." She flinched, then quickly tried to recover. "Look, I know I messed up. Ryan, he wasn't who I thought he was. He cheated on me. He used me. Emma," I interrupted calmly. "That's not my problem." Her eyes widened. "You don't even care?" I shook my head. "Not anymore." She reached out, touching my arm. "But you were always there for me. You were the one who made me feel safe. I didn't realize how much I needed that until it was gone. Please, can't we just start over?" I stepped back. "No." Her face twisted, desperate now. "You can't seriously be throwing away what we had for years, and you won't even give me a chance to make it right." I met her gaze, steady. "You threw it away the day you told me I was just convenient. You don't get to come back now that your dream blew up in your face." Her voice rose, sharp and angry. "So that's it? You're just going to be cruel? After everything I meant to you?" I almost laughed at the irony. "Cruel? Emma, you looked me in the eye and told me I wasn't the man of your dreams. That I was boring. That I was just a placeholder until you found someone better. You don't get to rewrite that because you're lonely." For a moment, she just stood there, speechless. Then she tried one last time, her voice trembling. "But I love you. I always did. I didn't see it then. Please, I need you. I took a slow breath, letting the silence hang heavy between us. Finally, I said, you were right, Emma. I was safe and convenient for you. But for me, losing you was the best thing that ever happened. I don't think about you anymore. You don't matter in my life. Her mouth opened like she wanted to argue, but nothing came out. I stepped past her, unlocked the building door, and went inside without looking back. That was the last time I saw her in person. Looking back now, I realized something important. The betrayal, the humiliation, the silence, all of it hurt more than I thought I could handle. But it also stripped away the illusion I'd been living under. I had been bending myself into the shape she wanted, and in the end, it still wasn't enough. What she saw as boring, someone else will see as steady, loyal, dependable. What she dismissed as convenient, someone else will value as commitment. But the biggest difference is that I don't need her validation anymore. I'm not chasing her ghost or anyone else's approval. Emma was right about one thing. She wanted to feel alive. She just didn't realize that I've never felt more alive than the day I finally walked away. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.